Good morning, Chavra. Today is the 25th day of Iyar. Let's begin with counting. Sfiras HaImer. Page 139. Together, page 139. Last time we counted 40. Hayoim, Arboim, Yoim, Shehem, Chamisha, Shavuos, the Chamisha, Yomim, Lo Today is 40 days, which is 5 weeks and 5 days of the Omer. Beautiful. Okay, page 72 for Tanya of the day in your Chayenus, page 72. Beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous Tuesday morning. You got to see it's mamish beautiful here. The flow, and in today's lesson, just as in the soul-body analogy, the soul is both equally present throughout, yet its functions vary substantially between the various organs. Similarly, with Hashem's godly light and energy in creation, Hashem is both omnipresent and yet very different in each realm, meaning in each world, according to its properties. Maish, you ready? Maish, let's go. Come on, Tanya of the day, sit down. In a truly similar manner. So we spoke about the way the neshama is spread out throughout the body, and it's particularly found, obviously, in the brain more, and then we also discussed the heart. But of course, Hashem is everywhere. Hashem is everywhere equally. The same thing is with, obviously, figuratively speaking, because it's not reality. We can't compare Hashem and the way He's spread throughout the world to anything, really, anything at all. But that's the same way as far as the mashal is concerned, that Hashem fills all the worlds to give them energy, to animate them. There's a marked similarity between the soul pervading the body and the internal light of Hashem permeating all the worlds. Just as in the analogy, the soul, the neshama, is found within and suffuses the entire body in a parallel manner, Insaif fills and is found in all the worlds. But not just in all the worlds, but even when we talk about in this world, in every single part of creation, including every single blade of grass. When you walk outside, every single kernel, you say kernel of sand? What's the grain? Thank you. That's a better word. Okay, if we're talking about how Hashem is found in each world, and in each world there are creatures without limit or end, myriads upon myriads of various grades of angels and souls. The higher up we go spiritually, the higher spiritual the souls and the angels are, and so on. And so too is the abundance of the worlds without end or limit, one higher than the other, and so on. We talk about four main worlds, Atzilus, Bri, Yitzir, and Asiyah, but there are many, many, many countless different levels within. In the realm of the spirit and separate and distinct entities, a result of their being on different spiritual grades and levels. Thus, a multitude of worlds implies a multitude of varying degrees of spirituality. Hence, the sheer numerousness of worlds and created beings each differ from the other in their spiritual level. Earlier on, when explaining his analogy, the Alter Rebbe points out that despite the vast differences that exist between one bodily organ and the other, the soul's essence is equally to be found in them. He now goes on to explain that in the analog of the Ein Sof as well, the light of Hashem, the essence of the light, is found in a hidden manner equally within all worlds. Hashem doesn't change. It's the worlds that are different. So, the core and essence of Hashem's light is the same in the higher worlds and the lower worlds, as we showed in the example of the soul within the body. The soul is found in the foot, just like it's found in the head. Same thing. Where in the Alter Rebbe explained that the soul's core and essence is not visible. And thus, it cannot be said of it that it's found in the brain to a greater extent than it's found in the feet. The Zohar explains, he is hidden from all the hidden. That's to say that even in the higher worlds, in the more spiritual worlds, in the hidden worlds, Hashem is hidden and concealed within them. just as he is hidden and concealed in the lower world. Just like we can't see Hashem here, to say, oh, Hashem is revealed up there, only to a certain extent. If he was fully revealed, they wouldn't exist. Thus, the intent of the Tikkun Iyar is not that Hashem is more concealed than are all the other hidden things, but that he's concealed even in the hidden worlds. It's only a greater revelation there than it is down here. No thought can grasp Hashem at all. Even in the higher worlds. They don't have a brain, they don't have a body like us, but they still have comprehension, however it is. Because Hashem is equally concealed from all the worlds, no distinction can be made between the higher and lower. Hashem defies comprehension of the higher worlds to the same degree that he cannot be apprehended and comprehended in the lower worlds. When it comes out. Hashem is found, meaning with regard to where Hashem is found. Just like he's hidden, but he's found there and he's revealed. Like we could say that about here. You reveal Hashem when we do a mitzvah, when we connect through Torah. So just like Hashem is found here, he's found there. Just the same way he's found there, he's found there. Hashem is found in the very lowest worlds. So what's the difference then? What's the difference between the higher worlds and the lower worlds? What's the difference? It's regard to the flow of vitality, which the blessed Ein Sof, the light of Hashem, causes to flow and illumine in a manner of revelation out of concealment. Ooh, it's a long one today. It's geschmack. Stay as long as you can. The Alter Rebbe will soon conclude that this revelation is intended for the purpose of vitalizing the worlds and their inhabitants, for the vitality of all the worlds and creatures derives from the revelation of Hashem within them. Thus, the difference between the higher and the lower worlds lies in the varying degrees of divine revelation within them. So with regard to revelation out of concealment, the Alter Rebbe now states, parenthetically, that this manner of revelation is one of the reasons why the godly vitality is found within the worlds and is therefore called light. Now you have dimmers on some lights, right? So some places you want it brighter, but if you go too bright, it could, unless it's tempered down, it's not going to be able to hold the light. Okay, so he says in parentheses, this is one of the reasons why the influence and flow of this vitality is called light. It's not real light that you turn on and off. It's not light like the sun. It's spiritual light. In Kabbalistic literature, the flow of vitality of godliness is termed light rather than shefa, rather than flow, as it's termed in Jewish speculative philosophy, chakira. Light signifies revelation out of concealment. Previously, the light had been concealed within the luminary, the source of the light. Think of a Shabbos lamp. The light is on there the whole time. All you're doing is you're just removing the blockage. You're revealing the light, which is there already. So in the case of revelation out of concealment, only minute illumination of the source is drawn down into a revealed state. By the way, in case we don't know what we're talking about here, of course, on Shabbos, Shabbat, you're not allowed to turn the light on. But they made this technology, the Shabbos light. It's not super complicated. It's very simple. You just cover it up and you reveal it versus turning it on and off. Very special. The above mentioned revelation out of concealment of light serves the purpose of what? Thereby animating the worlds and the creatures therein. And herein lies the difference between the higher worlds and the lower worlds. In case you were waiting with bated breath, trying to figure out what the difference was. So here we go. The higher worlds receive this vitality and light in a somewhat more revealed form than the lower worlds. Meaning even in the higher worlds, this light and vitality is not completely revealed, as we mentioned. All the creatures, remember again, I'll say this over and over. The Eibishter is not limited. He's found everywhere equally. He's found it. But from the perspective of the world itself, and let's say the higher worlds compared to this world, the Eibishter is more concealed. So when you're talking about over there, all the creatures in the higher worlds receive the revealed aspect of vitality, albeit each according to its capacity and nature. So as we go higher, it's more revealed. So just as in the analogy, each bodily organ receives vitality from the brain according to its character and nature. So too does the Alter Rebbe state in the analog that each creature receives its vitality according to its capacity and nature. And here's a note by the Rebbe. This means, he writes, that each being receives vitality according to its capacity to have the life force and vitality revealed within it, and according to the manner in which this vitality is to be revealed, whether as a revelation of intellect and comprehension or in a more emotional way. Shehi techunas ubechinas hamshacha haprotis asher ein soides asher ein soif baruch hu mamshech umeirloi, which is the nature and form of the particular flow with which the Blessed Ein Sof imbues and illumines it. You can realize, I guess, from your own self, it seems like your eyes, your mouth, your ears, your hands seem to have more energy than does your heel or your toe, right? So when we're talking about worlds, but the lower worlds and the lower creatures, like your lower, your knee or your foot, even the spiritual ones do not receive. When we're talking about the worlds, even the spiritual ones, the lower worlds, do not receive the life force in such a great revelation as it's received in the higher levels. Rak b'levushim rabim asher ein soif baruch hu malbish b'hem achayis v'ha'or asher mamshech umer lehem lakayisam. Only by means of many garments, many layers, wherein the Blessed Ein Sof is vested in the vitality and light which he causes to flow and shine on them in order to animate them. So the divine life force is garbed in many garments as to not be revealed. You put up a bunch of shades, even though the sun is coming all the way from a 92 million miles away? Okay, whatever, 92, 93, give or take, million miles away. The sun is still shining through the window on a very sunny day. That's why I'm backing the tail up. Sometimes I get sunburnt on my neck. But in any event, if you put a couple of shades, okay, it'll temper it down. If you put thick, if you put a multiple layers, it'll block it out. Doesn't mean it's not there, but it blocks it out. This concealment involves not only a multitude of garments in quantity, many, a quantitative manner of concealment, but also a qualitative one. It's beautiful, luscious, velvet, whatever it is. There's a vast difference between the insubstantial garments that conceal the vitality in the higher worlds and the much denser garments necessary to conceal the godly vitality to the degree that creation of the physical becomes possible. These garments, wherein the Blessed Ein Sof, the light of Hashem, invests and conceals the light of vitality, are so strong and powerful. They're not going to rip easily. They're not going to deteriorate so fast. The garments are not only numerous in quantity, but are also able to conceal, and they're not just regular garments. That with this life force and light, Hashem created this world, and it is that's corporal and physical. And Hashem creates and animates it by the vitality and energy of light, which he draws down and shines forth onto it. Oir, what's this light? Oir hamlubash, mechusa, mustar, v'soich halavushim harabim v'atzumim hameilim mastirim ha'oir v'chayus. This illumination is a light that's clothed, hidden, and concealed within the numerous and powerful garments which hide and conceal the light and that energy. In this world, you can't see the light of Hashem. It's so hidden away. We only see physical things that appear lifeless. If somebody leaves this book here, it'll stay here forever. Maybe it'll deteriorate a little bit. So gazing at corporal things, when we look around the world, such as the physical orb of Earth, when you fly in a plane, or now they have, astronauts going up in the spaceship, and once they pass a certain a certain distance, they look down, they're looking out the window. It's like, they see that ball, that beautiful globe. It can cause the person to imagine, when you're flying in a plane, in the beginning, it looks like little toys moving around. And it's like nothing. Then everything is just a bunch of dots. It doesn't even look real. And especially spiritually, it's completely devoid of any spirituality. But you remember this. Yesh oir v'chayis hamahava oisam me'ain liyesh tamid. Shlayachsru lihiyos ayin v'efes kishahoyu. Imagine if Hashem stopped for a moment, energizing it with spirituality and life, it would cease to exist. It wouldn't just fall, it would just disappear. It would go back to being nothing the way it was before it was created. So creation, something from nothing, has to be constant. The Eibishter constantly keeps it in existence. The fact that the world and its creatures were already once created during 6 days of creation is not enough. Rather, there must be a constant renewal of creation from its source, continuously, constantly, every single moment. Thus, the godly light and vitality that's responsible for creation is constantly found within created beings, albeit in a concealed fashion. Right? You don't see it, especially when it comes to non-vegetative animal, fish, human beings. You see a rock. Where's the energy that's keeping it in existence? This light comes from Hashem, except that it's clothed in many garments. As it's written in Chaim, Kabbalah explains that the light and vitality of the physical orb of the earth, which is seen by mortal eyes, we can see the world, is derived from Malchus of Asiyah. But it says that the line of sight we could see for miles and miles and miles. The only reason why we can't see is because the world is around. So after a while, it doesn't, or something's blocking or whatever. But when we go up, you could see how far, you could see so far away. How many miles up? The astronauts, how far are they from the Earth once they take off? I don't know. A few miles, not too far, right? 70 miles? Malchus of Asiyah is the lowest svira of the world of Asiyah. The lowest of the 4 worlds. Malchus itself is composed of all 10 spheres, the lowest of which is Malchus. Thus, Malchus of Asiyah represents the lowest degree of the lowest level of Asiyah. These are important terminologies as we count Sfiras HaImer. Malchus the Yitzira, and in the lowest level, it's contained the Malchus of the next highest world, the world of Yitzira, and so on. And within Malchus of Yitzira, in turn, there's contained Malchus of Bria, and so forth. Ultimately, in all of them, within the level of Malchus of all the worlds, including the level of Malchus of Asiyah, are contained the 10 spheres of the loftiest world, the world of Atzilus. Hamiyuchadis, Ba'atzilon, Ein Sof Baruch Hu, which are united with their emanator. Atzilus is basically right near Hashem and is united with Hashem. So thus, even the physical orb of earth contains godly light and vitality. We don't see it, it's all there. This results from the light passing through the spheres of the various worlds, the spheres being godliness of each world, as well as through numerous and powerfully dense garments that serve to conceal this godly light. So the difference between the higher and lower worlds will be understood accordingly, that the divine light and life force is revealed to a greater extent in the higher worlds than in the lower. And within this physical world, the light and life force is completely concealed. However, this is the case merely in relation to the illumination of godliness. With regard to the core and essence of the Ein Sof, there truly exists no difference between the higher worlds and the lower worlds. Hashem is equally concealed from all, and He is equally found in each and every one of them. So what's the takeaway for today, Chavra? There are many layers in creation, beginning with the pristine spiritual world, all the way down to the material and coarse world. All the energy is contained within Hashem, but does not define Hashem. Okay, this concludes chapter 51 in Tanya, and tomorrow we begin Perek Nun Beis, chapter 52. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for sticking around. Randy, Yuda, Pat. Oh, Jonathan. Nice crowd online. Sei gesund, Chavra.